Well, hello. Welcome back to the art room. I'm really glad you could make it today. Today we're going to be doing something called undersea chalk drawings. That's right, I'll show you how to make some great looking, three-dimensional looking fish, some bubbles, lots of fantastic looking seaweed, and a really neat underwater effect with light. It's all waiting for you today on today's art room. Whoa! I can hardly wait to show you this one. This is terrific. Here's the picture that we started the segment with. Oh, I had so much fun making this, and I'm going to show you how I did that, and then I'll show you some more advanced things that you might want to do. Just really a great illusion of being underwater with the fish and all of the great light sources. Okay, before we do though, just as I did when we did the outer space chalk drawing, there's a lot of black paper out there. This happens to be Crayola paper. If you have that, I guess, and that's all you've got, you'll have to make do with it. But this is called True Ray black paper, and you can see how much blacker it really is. I got this at the Hobby Lobby. It comes in 50 sheet packs. It's called True Ray black paper. If you're at Hobby Lobby, get it. It's just the greatest stuff. I use it for so many different things. Alright, so with this chalk drawing I did I showed you a second ago, I like the rectangular format because I guess it kind of reminds me of an aquarium sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is bend up some of this black paper straight across. That'll make a nice straight line for us. And I'm going to take my scissors and cut this tail off of here. That's going to give me this nice long piece of black paper, perfect for our undersea chalk drawings. I hope that guy at the beginning makes it through all his trials and tribulations with all that water flying in. Wow, kind of scary, huh? Okay, step number one then. We'll go and we'll take a look. What kind of chalk do you have? This is what I've been using lately. It's gotten me great results. Praying Gallery also, I got that from the Hobby Lobby. But whatever you have, the brighter the better, the softer the better for this particular drawing. So I'm going to get right into it. Let's imagine a light source over here. There's a bright sunny day, and I'm going to grab my white chalk, and let's see if we can make a area of light here. Make an oval, and up here in the corner, that's where our light's coming in. The sunlight's really bright today out in the ocean. Leave all your chalk dust, don't blow it away. So after I get a nice blob of white chalk, I'm going to take my finger. My fingers are usually dirty because I'm an artist, and I'm going to pull down in a straight line, trying to get the illusion of a beam of light coming down, and we'll spread it out like rays of the sun if you can. Spread it out as far as it'll go. Farther the better. And I'll spread that one out, and wow, a lot of chalk dust there. I'll spread that one out, and then I'm going to pull over. They all kind of go towards a converging point there in the middle. Okay? Alright. So after I do that, I'm going to come back here and rub what's left of it into the best sort of an oval shape that I can. Like that. Check the microphone there. Rub it into an oval shape. Now I'm going to go for a blue. I have a lot of different blues in my little kit here. And if you've just got one blue, go for the little bit of darker blue, I think. And I'm going to put some blue, and I'm doing this really lightly with the side of my chalk in between these areas that I've created with my my beams of light coming out. I'm just going to be really be real gentle, like that. Just put a little blue in there, and then now I'll take my blending finger here and see if I can't blend that in. That's really terrific. I'm going to blend that a little bit up into my white area. Just blend it out. Really get tough with it. Really blend it out real good. Really great. Okay. Like that. Okay. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, you with me so far? I hope so. Hope I'm not going too fast. You know, as long as we're on here, I think let's do a little blue up here above that. Oh yeah, I like that. I've never done that before. Just put a little blue up in the top too. I kind of like that. Always thinking of new things. Okay, so if you have a darker blue, we'll do some wavy lines that are going to be kind of crisscrossing one another like that, kind of going right across one another a little bit. And I'm going to come across here, make your lines nice and wavy like that, and don't make them evenly spaced. Just go across like that and press down, and sometimes not press down quite as much, blending them in to the black paper. Okay, and now I'll go like an X and go back across myself like this, and I get these really neat, like wavy patterns coming out, like ocean waves, like that. Okay, I'm going to blend that in a little bit with my fingertip. Ooh, I like that look too. Just blending it in. Okay. And I'll blend it in going that direction. There's so many ways you could do this. I've done this a lot of different ways. So if yours ends up looking a little different, good for you. Good for you. Just don't be afraid to experiment with different ways of doing things. But that's really looking pretty nice. I'll take my white chalk and I'm going to come back and pick out some of the areas that look like they're corners, like if I'm going into the corner of a box, let's say, just at the bottom corner, and I've got my white chalk here and I'm going into some of those areas like that and picking up little reflections in my surface of the water up there. Let's do a couple out here and maybe make some small ones too, little places out here that are just picking up little pieces of light. You really can't go wrong like that. Okay, oh, that's terrific. Okay, good enough for that. If I've made some kind of inconsistencies here with my beam of light here, or with my light coming out, I can take my kneaded eraser. Have you got one yet? I'm going to keep reminding you next time you're out at wherever you're at, Hobby Lobby or whatever, pick up a kneaded eraser. You won't regret it. In fact, I'm even going to put a couple nice little lines of little variations in my blue chalk dust that I just put down, like so. Ah, wow. And I never want to give up drawing, ever. Okay, well, let's switch gears and we're going to move over to a great illusion of bubbles. And you really, bubbles are just so fun to draw. They're really, to me, they're almost the star of this whole show here. Let me just clean up a bit. So take a piece of white chalk and we're just going to do kind of a starting bubble here. Make the lightest chalk line of a circle you can. Okay, mine's not quite a circle, but hey, sometimes bubbles aren't. And then maybe make another one. Switch ends here. There we go. And another one. And maybe a little tiny one. Okay, so we got bubbles. They kind of look like bubbles, but they're really going to look like bubbles in a second if you pick a highlight color and a shading color. So for me, I'm going to use orange as my top color for my bubbles, like this. Let's put some orange in there. Make it take the shape of the bubble. Orange across the top. Hey, that helps. They look like bubbles a lot more. And then across the bottom, I'll do a magenta. That's more of a purple, I guess, across the bottom. And they're starting to look pretty good now, but here's the real trick. I'll put a highlight here, and I'll put another highlight there, and all of a sudden, wow, you really get the idea that you've created some real live bubbles there. And we'll do lots and lots of bubbles as we go along through the picture. Okay, a fish. Let's make a school of fish. So for the fish, I'm going to take some of my drawing paper that I've got laying around here, and I'm just going to cut off a rectangle piece. And this is going to be my fish stencil that I'm going to repeat over and over again. So I'm going to fold this in half so that I get a symmetric fish. There's that word again, symmetry. We talk about it a lot. I think I'll grab a pencil or a pen here. Come on, Mr. Shay, you got a pencil? You ought to have one. Here you go. Pencil. And I'm going to make a fish shape. Now this is the folded side right here, so I'm going to draw a fish shape on it. Like that. Okay. And then I'm going to draw a fin on top. And then I'm going to put a tail fin on. Like that. Okay. Alright. So if I cut along the folded edge now, like that, I'm going to cut my fish out. Okay. Now I've got this great fish stencil that I can use for a whole school of fish. It's going to be a whole school, and I don't have to draw them all over. They're going to be exactly the same size. It's really a fun way to do it. So here again with the fish, I want two colors that are very different. For this one, I used yellow and blue, I think, a while ago. So I think I'm just going to go with that yellow and blue just because I like it so much. Maybe that's why I picked it out the first time. Huh? Okay, so with our stencil then, I'm going to take these two colors that I've chosen, and I want this wonderful effect of light playing on these fish. That's why they look so three-dimensional. So I'm going to take my yellow chalk. Yellow chalk's kind of the natural choice for the top of the fish because it's so light in value. It's like a sun color. And then I'll take my blue and underneath the fish create a lot of chalk dust there that I can rub. So right through that stencil I'm going to push up with the blue, rub it around a little bit on the edge there so you get a nice sharp image, and then from the top of the fish down, okay, like that. Oh, that's tremendous. Let's peel it away and see what we did. There's our first fish. He is great. Okay, and I don't have that much to clean up. A little bit of cleanup around there where it crept through the stencil, and I'll go ahead and add a eye to him. Now I'm not going to do a very bright eye. I'll show you why. I don't want it to be too bright because I'm going to use a marker to make the center part, the pupil of his eye. I want that to be really noticeable and dark, and then after I've done that, then I can go ahead and make a highlight high and low and make it look like his eye has a little bit of a shine to it. I might take my white chalk and just do the teeniest of details there on my first fish. So I'm going to go ahead in fast motion and create a whole school of fish while you watch me. Here we go. Okay, you may have noticed that I switched from a yellow rubbing finger to a blue rubbing finger. That really kept a lot of the colors a little more true. And then I've gone back and cleaned up things a little bit and added some white highlights to their fins and to their eyes. And don't forget to use a marker to do that center of the eye. So once again, I'm going to go into fast motion and draw some more bubbles. Okay, now in the background, I think I'll create some of these small bubbles, kind of the illusion of bubbles kind of lifting up out of the bottom, you know, the way that you would see kind of in a pattern. We did something like this in our planet outer space drawings here. It kind of reminds me of stars, but in this case we're using them as kind of lines of bubbles in the background that are taking on kind of a direction here. Kind of adds to the illusion. Okay, well, let's keep going, and I like this part because it's really a chance for you to show your kind of an artistic flair. Well, imagine a coral reef over here on this side of the paper, which has got a nice big kind of a blank area. And I'm going to take a piece of chalk here. Let's just go with like this kind of a pastel. And what I'm going to do is just hold it on its side, and I'm going to drag it across the surface of the paper here and just kind of be random and make yourself a nice little kind of a coral reef here. It's got one layer, and maybe do a second layer to it. Okay, oh, that's neat. Little coral reef over there. And then I think I'll just add some random bits of, let's see, what colors here, thinking as I go as usual. Just some areas that look like they could be little patches of like colorful seaweed or maybe coral kind of growing up out of it. I think I'll do some of that. Oh, I like that orange and some right there. I think I'll switch over. Let's see here. Boy, this is a fun picture. I think I'll do some kind of this nice pinkish color, and we'll put some, oh yeah, that's great. Some that are maybe a little taller and wackier looking. It's kind of a nice coral reef effect there. Oh, very nice. Okay, so let's do a seaweed. My first one here, let's go back and we did kind of an orange seaweed. I like the way that looks. Let's see, this time I'm going to go with more of a kind of a reddish, orangish. And when I did these, I wanted my seaweed pieces to look really thin and delicate at the end, and then get a little bit fatter and thicker as they entered the coral reef. So what I'm going to do, it's kind of backwards drawing. I'm going to start really light, and as I get back to the coral reef where they're embedded, then I'm going to press down a little harder here. So, and I'm going to just kind of, to be clever, I'm going to go over my fish a little bit, pressing very lightly, and then as I get down towards the end, press down harder like that. And let's do another one of those. I'm going to go real light, and as I enter the main branch, press down a little harder. And lots more. Okay. See, now that one I had to break my own rule. That-a-way, Mr.Shay, that-a-way. Gotta break those rules sometime. Adding a few more. I'm going to go in fast motion again and draw some more seaweed. Okay, I think I'll switch colors and do another little seaweed plant here. Here's kind of a neat looking yellow-green. Do another little seaweed plant. So I've decided I'm going to highlight my seaweed a bit here with a lighter color. So I use this color excuse me, as my beginning seaweed color for the big plant. So this is going to be my highlighting color, as if some of that light was going and catching on my seaweed pieces here. Okay, well, hey, I am really starting to like this drawing. I think I'm going to leave it here. There's so many more things that I could do. Sometimes, as I did with this beginning one, I added some little tiny schools of fish. I just drew those in by hand. That was kind of fun, this little school of red fish that I put in. When I did my first couple of pictures, when I was thinking about doing this with you, I did a couple other experimental pictures. Let me show you those too. Here's one where I made my fish rubbings really big. Okay, did my fish rubbings really big on that one. I like that. And I made some far away fish in a school, and just by kind of showing the kind of gray shapes back there, they look like they're kind of mysterious and in the background. This one with our seaweed, I drew kind of a little line, like an edge of a leaf almost, and that gave us kind of a neat effect. And then here's one I just did. This one I decided to put some more realistic fish in it and draw those just in by hand. You know, I think though, all in all, I still like our original one the best. I guess that's why that's the one I showed you. Just really like that look. So that wraps up our undersea picture. I hope you had fun with it as much as I did. Try it, get some nice black paper, and see how things work out with you. And remember, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you've got something to be proud of. You're an artist. So keep drawing, and I'll see you here next time in Mr. Shay's Art Room.